Hey everybody, it's Abby here with your in-depth analysis of the Quidditch Final. The stakes couldn't be higher, folks. They just couldn't get any higher. This is it. The time has come. The day is here. Quidditch Cup fever has hit the castle hard, with both Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw jumping on the Gryffindor bandwagon. The campus corridors have become quite the contentious hotspot, with enthusiastic dust-ups here and there. Gryffindor players have been given security escorts leading up to the match, and reports indicate that 2 students identified only as a 4th-year Gryffindor and a 6th-year Slytherin were treated in the hospital wing, suffering from leaks sprouting from their ears. No updates on their conditions at this time, and Madame Pomfrey has declined our request for comment. The magic number is 60. With Slytherin ahead in the standings, we need a strong performance by our chasers and a dominating offensive front. A snitch caught before we get to that magic deficit of 60 means a match win, but not a cup win. Wood was seen checking field conditions just prior to the match, and sources indicate he may have given his shortest pre-game pep talk of his career. 5 words, folks. That's it. 5 words. And here it goes. Quoted, "Okay, it's time. Let's go." The stakes are high for everyone, and no one is feeling that pressure more than Wood. Let's just hope he has shared a game plan that is more in-depth than his pep talk, letting Potter know that we must be more than 50 points ahead. Playing in today's match, chasers for Gryffindor. 4th-year Katie Bell and 5th years Angelina Johnson and Alicia Spinnet. Fred Weasley and George Weasley, both 5th years, will be the Gryffindor beaters. Oliver Wood is our keeper, 7th year and captain of our team. And lastly, 3rd year Harry Potter playing the position of seeker. For Slytherin, 7th year and captain of his team, Marcus Flint will play chaser along with Graham Montague and Cassius Warrington, both in their 6th year. The beaters for Slytherin are Peregrine Derrick and Lucian Boyle. Miles Bletchley playing keeper and seeker, 3rd year Draco Malfoy. With an estimated 800 spectators in the crowd, the captains crush hands and here we go. Today's match was expertly commentated by Lee Jordan. It should be noted that it seems Slytherin used size rather than skill when picking their players. Spinnet, first to the quaffle, takes a shot that is intercepted by Warrington. Warrington is hit with a bludger expertly aimed by George Weasley and drops the quaffle. Angelina, putting the first 10 on the board, is hit by Flint after the goal. Fred Weasley retaliates with his club to the back of Flint's head. For the unprovoked attacks, double penalties are awarded. Angelina scores, putting Gryffindor 20-0, and Wood saves Flint's shot. Montague grabs Bell by the back of the head, awarded another penalty shot. Gryffindor up 30-0. Malfoy takes the bait, chasing down Harry and a faked snitch sighting. 2 bludgers connect with Potter. Flint puts 10 points on the board for Slytherin. In a very dirty play, Bull hits Alicia claiming she was a bludger, and George retaliates quickly. Again, double penalties are awarded. Gryffindor scores, and again, Wood stops Slytherin's penalty shot. Another penalty is handed out to Slytherin for attacking the keeper when the quaffle is not in the area. Angelina scores, making our points 60-10. Fred Weasley hits Warrington with a bludger, and he drops it. Alicia through the hoops, and that's a goal. It's 70-10, folks. That's 60 points up. Snitch! 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 Potter's attempts are foiled by Malfoy latching onto the back of the firebolt. Tactics like this, we don't know if they've ever been seen. A penalty, again, awarded. Alicia misses by several feet. Montague capitalizes, bringing the score back to 70-20. Angelina with a quaffle. Potter running interference for her. She scores 80-20, and as Potter recovers, he finds Malfoy in a dive for the snitch. With lightning speed, he's tearing after him, feet away, inches away. No, hands! Hands off the broom! Catching the snitch and capturing the Quidditch Cup. With tears of joy, the Gryffindors celebrate the win of the Quidditch Cup.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast that must not be named. I am Luke.
I am Melissa.
And we are continuing our venture through Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 15, The Quidditch Final. This chapter was 23 pages, and that is 7.44% of this book.
And now, a voice of the Imaginary Legion.
Chapter 15. A More Important Quidditch Match. The devastating news of Buckbeak's trial marks an end to the ongoing feud between Ron and Hermione. After care of magical creatures, our threesome are enraged when they hear Malfoy speaking about the trial, Buckbeak, and Hagrid. Getting to him first, Hermione slaps Draco. Continuing on to class, the boys wonder where Hermione went. They find her asleep in the common room, having missed charms entirely. In divination, the class moves on from palmistry and begins working with the crystal ball. They are instructed to clear their inner eyes. However, 15 minutes of staring into fog. Ron, Harry, and Hermione are barely keeping it together. The clairvoyant vibrations have been disturbed. Professor Trelawney peers into Harry's crystal ball, and at the near mention of the Hermione loses all decorum. Professor Trelawney continues to say she doesn't remember ever meeting a student whose mind was so hopelessly mundane. Kicking the trapdoor open, Hermione walks out on her. The Easter holidays greet the third years with a relentless onslaught of coursework. Hermione's workload has her in near tears at all times. Ron takes over research of Buckbeak's defense, and Wood has Harry practicing 5 nights a week for the upcoming Quidditch final. As the game approaches, the tensions between the houses rise to a boil. The night before the match, Harry has restless, dream-filled sleep. He wakes in the middle of the night and sees out of his window Crookshanks and a large, shaggy, black dog walking the edge of the Forbidden Forest. The next morning, Harry makes his way to the pitch quickly. It is Gryffindor versus Slytherin for the cup. The match is a heated battle that Gryffindor ultimately wins. The chapter ends with Harry raising the Quidditch cup over his head and feeling as if he could produce the world's best Patronus.
Let me start by just saying, welcome back. I'm happy to have you. I was fine without you, but I'm happy to have you back. Glad you can join us.
It's nice to be back after my, unplanned hiatus. I'm glad to hear that Abby, went word for word from the script that I left her. That was nice to see. She really appreciated the work that I put in for her.
She did. And not only did she go word for word, she definitely delivered it better than you would have. So.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm just here for good looks.
You're mediocre at best. It's okay.
Good looks on a podcast. It just, it really pays the bills.
All the ladies are lined up.
I don't know about that. So let's get into some new character introductions. We had a small handful, all from the same same group, I guess.
I don't know what kind of hand you have. My hand has 5 fingers and this group only has 4. So, you must have Muppet hands. The people,
Simpson hands.
So we met Warrington, Montague, Bowl, and Derek.
Derek and Bowl, the beaters from Slytherin.
Don't you feel like one of these things is not like the other? You've got Warrington, Montague, Bowl. Those are all, they gotta be last names, right? And Derek.
Yeah, it's spelled not necessarily like I would spell as a first name. I don't know if that makes a little difference.
I know Derek spelled that way.
Okay, I do not.
Okay.
I don't really think we had any new location introductions this chapter. Did you see any? We kind of went to different classes. We went to the Great Hall, went to the common room, and the
we
dorm
went to
room.
Trelawney's office, or Trelawney's classroom.
Went to the Quidditch pitch. I think we've been all those places.
Well, if we don't remember if we've been there, that's a different issue.
Yeah.
However, there were some magicabulary. My favorite one, cheering charms. Big fan.
Yeah, that seems pretty useful.
Yes.
There were also 2 books that Ron was using. The Handbook of Hippogriff Psychology and Foul or Foul, a study of hippogriff brutality.
Nice play on words.
Yeah, Foul or Foul.
With a W or a U.
Yeah, bird or penalty.
So, there's an illustration. It is of Harry on a broom, reaching a snitch, being attacked by a bludger. That is all.
Yeah, both hands out, clearly making the reach of his lifetime.
Which, it does turn out to be. I agree with you. And here's my question. What's with the cape?
Yeah, I'd imagine that's like just a... Because they always say that they're wearing their Quidditch robes. That
right.
Doesn't look like a robe to me.
No, it looks like pants and a cape. It's a cape.
Well, think about writing a room with robes on. Like, think about with a dress on.
I'm okay with the pants.
Pants, smart choice. It was a good choice.
Especially considering where the audience is versus where the brooms are. Big fan of pants.
Especially in this chapter where, Angelina almost gets knocked off her broom. You get knocked around.
Okay, again.
No one needs to see this.
No one's questioning the pants.
Yeah.
But Edna Mole says no capes. And I believe her because you can get sucked into a vortex or what other things that she suggests. I feel like it causes too much friction. You're not very aerodynamic with the cape.
Oh, that's questionable.
Well, if the cape was like Superman's cape and helps you fly, sure. But the broom is there for that. You don't need both.
It's an interesting choice for the illustration.
I disagree.
And it's because it doesn't fit what's given to us in the book.
No,
it
everything else does. There's a bludger coming at him. He does take both hands off. Although, let's go with
Draco should be right behind him. Technically.
Who cares?
Or maybe we're at the cross section right. Maybe, Draco's
like our view of the angle is.
Yeah, Draco's like just
maybe
closer to
the
us.
Illustration is being done from Draco's viewpoint.
Oh.
We're seeing what he sees.
Okay, fair. He's like, wow, Harry wears capes. So it's just Draco's perspective.
I am a little concerned about the severe spoiler this picture is giving us, though, for the chapter.
He hasn't caught it yet.
There's
bludger's right there.
It's possible.
It's an action shot.
Okay.
I agree. It could be telling.
He's
gonna come close.
It's a bit of a big hint. Hey, look, there's a snitch. His hands are right there. What do you think's gonna happen?
All right, Melissa. So in my week off, I definitely came up with some notes, but it looks like you do as well. So kick us off on what's your first note this chapter?
Well, can I just be thankful that the whole Ron and Hermione having issues thing seems to be done and over with. I was over it. That was old.
Yeah, it was tiresome. Like
Truth.
It was, I think we kind of talked about that. It was like, oh, this chapter, they're angry at each other. This chapter, they make up. This chapter, they do both. This chapter, it was like every chapter. And again, I know this is the first time that I think either of us has read this book chapter by chapter. And in general, you and I are not good at that.
Yeah, slow is not our pace.
So I think this is one of those times where if you're reading right through, it's like, okay, well, they had smattering, and you just get through it and it's not a big deal. It doesn't wear on you as much. But when you're reading it, dwelling on it, it's just, you see how blatantly it's flip-flopping. And
well, I'm almost thinking
just so you don't forget about it.
Can you imagine, because JK planned out the chapter. She's like, okay, chapter 8, they're going to fight. Chapter 9, they're going to make up.
Mm-hmm.
Simply to try and keep track of where they are, because if she's writing a chapter, it's going to be hard to remember if they're friends or not friends or speaking or not speaking. So we're just going to make it in every other chapter thing.
Make a point of it so that it's easier to...
And it's usually at the beginning or the end of each chapter, right? It's never in the middle.
Several chapters were the climax of that chapter was big falling out. Right. Or big making up.
Right. So then it's like, okay, now I'm set up for this chapter. Whew, I have one chapter to go. And then maybe the beginning of, there's a whole chapter like that. The beginning of the next chapter, they make up again or whatever it is. So
yeah,
let's hope this one sticks.
I think it's really nice to see that, it does look like the friendships are worth more than broomsticks or rats. Just a line that I didn't get to say last chapter, which was my favorite line last chapter. It's, and it goes right into why I thought Hagrid was the best character last chapter, but it's a good line that it's nice to see. Hopefully this is the end of this. You
do know we did honor you.
I know. I heard.
Okay.
I heard.
Right.
I just had to reiterate.
Wait, hold on. You take a week off and you get to have a favorite line said twice?
I'm going to go through and just give all of my notes. I'm going to sprinkle them into this chapter what I didn't get to say last chapter. I'm new at this.
Oh, no. See, we've already done your notes. You're fine.
That's fine. All
right. So talk to me a little bit about Hermione here at the beginning of the chapter.
Yeah, wow. So Draco's kind of laying into Hagrid a bit. He shouldn't be blubbering about. He's supposed to be our teacher, and what a great oaf and all these things. And Ron and Harry make an aggressive move toward him, but they're way behind Hermione. She is already smacking him in his smug, stupid face.
It is so stupid.
And you can just imagine his stupid face and how confused, dumbstruck.
Get it?
He's dumb, and he was struck. And the fact that he doesn't do anything about it.
No.
He doesn't fight back. He doesn't have Crabbe and Goyle fight back. He doesn't go tell a teacher because how embarrassing. Like, right? That's what's going through his head. I can't go to Professor Snape, Hermione Granger, mudblood, hit me in the face.
Right.
He's not gonna go ask for help from a teacher on that.
No.
No way.
Well, I don't really know what you do in that situation.
And if he draws a wand on her, she's gonna beat him at that easily. Wipe the floor with him. It's not even, and I think he absolutely knows that.
Well, and before it was always 3-on-2. It was always the three Slytherins versus Harry and Ron, and now all of a sudden Hermione's in the fight.
Game changer.
Very much. I think Hermione smacking Draco is one of my all-time favorite moments in the series.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about movies much, but I will say it's one of my all-time favorite moments in the movies too.
Okay.
I really like the idea of Hermione losing herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, she is cracking up.
Yeah. I mean,
all over the place.
Her response after, because Ron and Harry are dumbfounded too. They're like, Hermione.
Well, and then as soon as Ron tries to stop her, he tries to stop her and she swings back at him. Ron. And he tries to kind of put a hand in and she swings on him and says, get off me, Ron.
Yeah.
So, like, Hermione on edge is awesome.
Yeah, it's volatile.
I'm a donkey on an edge. And she is not afraid to let anybody know. I love, like, mental crackdown Hermione.
Yeah. And her response, after this, after the Slytherins leave is, you had better beat him in the Quidditch match, Hermione said shrilly. Let's get that out there. Shrilly. She's shrieking this almost. You just better had, because I can't stand it if Slytherin wins. And yeah, I like how aggressive she is.
Oh goodness. Although we get to go to a charms class for the first time, I believe, all year. I don't believe we've seen charms at all this entire school year.
It's been so caught up in the new classes. And
some
Snape,
transfiguration
because of
stuff,
Snape.
and yes, like a lot of those. We know they're going to charms.
Yeah, we haven't had any herbology either.
No.
So, but they're still going.
Right.
I'd imagine they're still using Wednesday nights to go look at the stars.
But isn't that first years? They're third years now. It's like, does the entire
I think
school
the whole school's out there, I guess. I don't know. We don't know if there's a teacher. We know there's Professor Sinistra of the astronomy department. Not the head, but just of. Could be. We just don't know.
I feel like just take the of out. Professor Sinistra, the astronomy department.
I know early in book 1, we theorized that maybe that's what Dumbledore does. Maybe he teaches astronomy. We just don't know.
Possible. So they go to charms for the first time that we've seen, and Hermione misses it, which is
bizarre,
highly unlike her.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Ron says it best. Odd class for her to miss. She really could have used, could have done with a cheering charm too.
Yeah.
She's having a rough day.
Especially on that day of, attacking the Malfoy.
Right.
But I would say in general, Hermione in this chapter is on fire.
Yeah.
She's the best and I love her, particularly when we go to divination.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to get into too much other than I love it, because I really feel like we're going to talk about that in later possible superlative sections.
Very, very good scene. But there's a lot we'll come up to that.
I am going to say I believe that Hermione in divination might be one of the best scenes in the book.
Okay.
So far.
I think I could be convinced.
Okay.
I think I could be convinced. Up to this point, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's a lot of good moments.
There are a lot of good moments, and I'm not saying that overall giant plot wise it's all that important. So there might be more big plot things that are more important, but this is definitely one of my favorite.
There's a lot of underlying themes major underlying themes that come to head
Yes.
here. And it's nice to see it
Yes.
be brought to
Right.
fruition.
Although I do like Lavender Brown's line about how Trelawney knew that somebody would leave around Easter. And she's like, oh yeah, I totally got that.
Yeah, I knew that Miss Granger would be leaving us.
Sometimes one hopes.
That they misread the signs. Yeah, I don't know.
The inner eye can be a burden, you know.
Oh, it's just, yeah. It's just difficult. Oh, boy.
So then we move on to some of the pre-Quidditch match warm-ups.
Yeah, hijinks. I don't know. Actually, like right before that, we know the only time that Harry and like the trio get to really see each other is when Harry's not at Quidditch practice and Ron's spending a lot of his time doing research for the hippogriffs.
Finally.
Pitching in. Yeah, finally. I agree. But we're there now.
You know what? We're not going to worry that you're late. We're just going to be happy that you showed up at all.
Let's not dwell on the negatives.
Okay.
Let's look forward to the positives. And Ron's doing work. He is.
I'm sorry. The fact that like he's doing anything.
Ron's
By
doing.
choice. By choice.
Ron's doing.
Okay.
Let's just be happy about that.
All right.
But-
Keep going.
You know, one of my favorite lines here that just got overshadowed by other superlative lines later on that we'll talk about. He was so absorbed, he even forgot to be horrible to Crookshanks. I just love it. I love it because I've been horrible to Crookshanks this book too.
You have been horrible.
And I feel like I've been so
Crookshanks.
busy lately that I couldn't even think about Crookshanks lately.
You've been so busy lately, you didn't get to do Crookshanks bashing in chapter 14.
I missed my opportunity.
Yep. Too late.
Too late. But yeah, then we definitely get into the pre-match honor guard again, or more like a protection mob.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of the Quidditch players are being attacked and there's fights breaking out and all of these things. A couple of students ended up in the hospital wing, not even from the Quidditch team. Like,
Right.
you know,
Just
it's
random Slytherins and
and
Gryffindors and
each of the players are, especially Harry, is surrounded by other students just for protection.
they're afraid of like something happening, backlash to the firebolt.
Yeah, sabotage, so he's constantly running back up to the dorm room to make sure that it's
Yes.
still there.
Well, and can we talk about Wood and his absolute focus on what exactly Harry has to do?
Yeah, go for it.
So you must catch it only if we're more than 50 points up, Wood told Harry constantly. Only if we are more than 50 points up, Harry, or we win the match but we lose the cup. You got that, haven't you? You must catch the snitch only for— I know, Oliver! Harry yelled.
Pretty good. Pretty good. And it also says that Harry ended up going to class late a lot because of the chattering crowd around. He just couldn't get to class. Does that mean all the other students are extra late to their, or are they like offsetting staggered schedules? I don't know. We're not going to get into schedules.
So either
We'll go to tangent.
either they don't care, and
I think that's what it is.
the teachers don't care.
Protecting Harry, most important for Quidditch reasons. Be clear. Quidditch reasons only.
Right. Like, well, okay, class, but guys, it's Quidditch.
Right.
We gotta be there. He's gotta be
yeah.
okay.
Whoa. We all thought he was the heir of Slytherin last year. It's cool now. Quidditch kid. Quidditch bro.
We're all Team Harry.
Yeah.
And it's never gonna change.
3/4 of the school, apparently. Even in the crowd, 3/4 of the students were wearing scarlet.
Let's talk about what the people in the crowd were wearing. Or you have one more.
I do.
Note.
So that night before as well, we have a Harry Dream Alert, Harry Dream Alert, Harry Dream Alert. And this is, he has a couple different dreams. He dreams that he woke up late and Oliver's berating him because they had to use Neville instead. He had another dream where he forgot his firebolt and didn't realize it, and the Slytherins were flying on dragons. That's definitely not quite as symbolic. There's not quite as much symbolism as the other dreams that we've had from Harry, but it's just worth making a note of. Harry, dream alert.
Yeah, I would say most likely this is, nerves about the Quidditch game. Pretty direct line.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's really much else to read into this.
Yeah.
Also, that night before, he wakes up from the dreams to go get a drink of water. They have a silver jug of water underneath the window. So he goes over, gets a little drinky drink, looks out the window, and sees the Grim.
Random.
Double takes. Oh, it's just Crookshanks.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it just Crookshanks? He tries to wake up Ron. Ron is sleeping groggily, so it's dark. Well, yeah, because you're still sleeping. And so then as Harry looks back out the window, he even stands up and on the window ledge to look straight down. Can't find him. They're Crookshanks, maybe Grim, gone. I don't know. Just interesting that, he could, from however tall this tower is, make out Crookshanks in the dark. I don't know. Thoughts on that at all?
No, not necessarily. I think that Harry puts a little bit too much store into
this Grim thing.
Yes, it's kind of driving me crazy, to be perfectly honest with you.
I mean, just saw this chapter again in the crystal ball.
Sorry, I will. It was a very long one.
It was. Drawn out.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of stuff as I'm reading, and I've always been this kind of reader. That's the kind of setting the stage, talking about the scenery, little things that I usually breeze right past going, this is dumb. I'm just going to keep going. Because I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Crookshanks, great. He's a cat. We got it. And I'm a Crookshanks defender over here, but I'm kind of tired of hearing about the cat. We don't hear about...
Scabbers.
Well, no, he's dead now. Oh.
Too soon.
Nah, I'm good.
We don't hear about Hedwig.
That was, yeah.
That's its name.
That was
the Owlery, I guess. I mean,
when was the last time we heard about him?
Or maybe she's on a job.
Whatever.
Yeah, maybe she's going to try to get letters from the Dursleys, just pecking them.
Oh, hold on. Let's picture that for a moment. Okay, better. All right, can we move on to the game?
Let's move on to the game.
Okay, so earlier you talked about 3/4 of the crowd being dressed as Gryffindor supporters. 1/4, however, is dressed all in green. Please, 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 somebody send me a picture of Snape dressed in Slytherin green to support his team.
Instead of just black.
Just black. Like, what would that look like to be like full-on Snape green?
Mm-hmm. Did you see what else is in that line?
No. What did I miss?
Read that line again.
I can't find it.
I can't find it. We'll find it.
Professor Snape sat in the very front row wearing green like everyone else in a very grim smile.
Before that.
Okay, fine. Behind the Slytherin goalpost, however, 200 people were wearing green. Oh, math!
Numbers!
Okay. So, if there are
always a number watch. Always. Okay. And right, the sentence before that, it says 3/4 of the crowd.
Which means there's 800 people in school.
Yes. At least 800 watchers of the Quidditch match.
Of the Quidditch final.
Right.
One would assume that almost everybody would be there.
Right. Including maybe alumni and parents potentially too.
So 200. Well, okay. That goes back to the alumni.
And these are rough estimates from the pitch.
Okay. So 200 green. That would be 1/4.
That's what we're told.
600 non-green.
Yep.
800 total. Oh, we have a number.
We have another number to go off of.
Another number to go off of.
We're just working out ranges here.
I like the idea of it possibly being filled in by parents / alumni contributors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan. It could be teachers. It could be other various entities.
Mm-hmm.
But
Scouts.
Yes.
Why not?
It could be. Yeah. Where else are they going to get?
Right. It's
right.
Definitely a good recruiting place, I'd say.
But yes, I think it's for the most part kids. So even if you say, what do you think, maybe 50 of each fourth, that's still 700 students.
Yeah.
50 of each fourth is outside of Hogwarts students, I should say. That leaves 150.
I'm just telling you, always on number watch over here.
Big fan. All right.
Especially when there's two.
600? Yeah. I know. Within one paragraph.
Yeah. When you're that specific, gonna catch it.
When you're that specific, watch out for the math people. They're gonna get you. Hi, here we are.
Hello.
Hello. Let me get my math cups. Math
podcast
cups
that must do math.
I'm in.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Sidebar. What's next?
The Quidditch match itself.
Okay.
I'm going to go and say Quidditch correspondent Abby, phenomenal job describing the match. I don't think we can really add a whole lot to it. You know,
I have... go ahead.
A lot of penalty shots, a lot of very dirty game, exciting game to watch. You know, it's high drama. Every single point matters for both sides. And I think JK does a really good job at making you feel the drama that, oh, wow, okay, now we're up the points that we need to.
Mm-hmm.
But then this thing happened and, you know, obviously they're playing dirty, but it's throwing us off our game. You know, like they're getting in our heads. They're playing the mental games and it's working. And they come back. We don't have the deficit that we need anymore. So now we have to get that extra one, and it's you can just feel the energy in the
meanwhile,
in the
you've
match.
got Harry trying to make sure that Draco doesn't get the snitch, and that he doesn't, like, he's still looking for it.
Has
so
to
he can
deke him
catch it.
out and fake him. Yeah, I just think it's her best written Quidditch match easily so far.
I agree, absolutely. I do want to just throw a little shout out to Lee Jordan's commentary.
Oh,
though.
take it away.
Two of the best commentary lines ever. And it's Gryffindor in possession again, as Johnson takes the quaffle. Flint alongside her. Poke him in the eye, Angelina. It was a joke, Professor. It was a joke. Oh no, Flint in possession. Flint toward the Gryffindor goalpost. Come on now, Wood, save! And that was the whole thing. Sorry, Professor, sorry. Won't happen again. Oh, it says, but Flint had scored. There was an eruption of cheers from the Slytherin end, and Lee swore so badly that Professor McGonagall tried to tug the magical megaphone away from him. Sorry, Professor, sorry. Won't happen again. So Gryffindor lead, 30 points to 10. Gryffindor in possession. And then later on, right after
Draco grabs the tail.
Let's talk about Draco being just a git. What a jerk that guy is, right? Let's pull on tailwind. But Lee, his commentary, after the penalty, you cheating scum! Lee Jordan was howling into the megaphone, dancing out of Professor McGonagall's reach. You filthy cheating bat! The line cuts off in the book, but the next sentence says, Professor McGonagall didn't even bother to tell him off. She was actually shaking her finger in Malfoy's direction.
Her hat had fallen off.
And she, too, was shouting furiously.
That is one of the most memorable... I just always, like, for Quidditch matches, I always remember that, where it's so bad that, like, even Madame Hooch was like, never in all of my years have I seen such tactics. Or whatever. Exactly. I don't remember exactly.
I've never seen such tactics.
And, like, it's just unfathomable. I don't know. I'm sure that's... You know, that kind of holding thing has happened before.
But maybe not so blatantly and in such an important match. I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's just the way it builds up, very, very well written.
Yeah.
And McGonagall wasn't... He's dancing away from it because he knows he's going to get in trouble for this one, but nope. She's already lost her hat. You know, she's wigged out.
Yep.
It's great.
Excellent commentating by Lee Jordan. Ooh, real claps and everything.
Absolutely. So with that, how many questions you got for me?
I have 2 and then 3.
Okay. All right. Let's get the 2 first. We'll see how many of the other 3s we get to.
Excellent.
Set them on fire.
All right. So my first set. The first one is, how long do they get off for Easter holidays? It just bothers me.
Yeah? Do you feel like you don't get enough time off school?
I don't get an Easter holiday, so there's that.
Me either.
And I don't mind. I'm not, like, I don't understand it. Maybe it's like my spring break, but if it's a whole week, why aren't they going home like they do for Christmas? It doesn't really seem like a holiday to me so much as like maybe a long weekend. I'm
going to go with, it reminds me of where I went to school for college for St. Patrick's Day. No matter what day it was going to be, you know, calendar wise, we got Thursday and Friday off that week. I feel like it's an extended weekend.
Okay. And that would make sense why they're not going home for it. But what else are they going to do there? I don't know. Easter
apparently
holidays.
A lot of homework.
Yeah, that's so unfair.
Yeah. And even Seamus Fickey was like, they call this a holiday. Are you kidding me with all this work? Exams aren't for months.
Like, I'd rather just be in class doing the work there than being stuck. Yep. All right. My second question of my first set.
I have a real quick tack on to that. And
that's fine.
I think it's something that we should probably revisit in unrestricted section, but this is just to make a note of religion in the magical world. Because obviously Easter tends to be a religious holiday.
So does Christmas, but Christmas has become more secular.
Right. Let's put a pin in that and maybe come back to it next episode in our unrestricted section, just so we have more to talk about.
I'm going to make a note.
And because I haven't fully prepared thoughts on it, but I think it's worth noting.
Religion in the magical world? ?
And listeners, if you have thoughts on that for us to talk about, please write in your thoughts on how religion is intertwined in JK's Wizarding World. I would love to hear from you.
Question
you
2
have a week.
Of set 1. How does Crookshanks even get outside?
Well, he probably, left the castle.
How?
How?
I mean, he can't get out the front door.
There's windows all over and stuff. He's a cat. Cats get everywhere. That's why they suck. The elusive one of the reasons
magic happened. It's cats.
Cats could get places. We know it's a magical cat.
I was just wondering if maybe he got in the same door as the troll.
Lock-picking skills.
No, it's the magic troll door.
There's a gigantic door out there somewhere that is always ajar.
When it's a door, not a door.
Right. When it's ajar.
Good. All right. That's just always been my random question. Why is he even outside? It just bothered me.
Because cats go outside. They run the streets.
Okay. That's all. It's not a very exciting
And no
question.
one worries about that, but if your dog's out there...
Oh, no.
See? Cats. Unfair.
Having had lots of dogs that were runners, they always came home until they followed us to school.
People don't complain about cats, I guess. Like they complain about dogs being out.
It's because cats are smart and stealthy, and they're not dumb enough to get caught. Dogs get caught. Dogs are loud. Dogs don't know any better. They're very cute and adorable, but they're kind of dumb.
They're kind of dumb sometimes.
You're so dumb. All right, question 1 of set 2. How would you rate Draco's seeker skills?
I would rate them successfully because he's very bad. I'm going to successfully rate them. That's how I would do it. I would do it well. He's bad. I just don't think he's very good at all. I mean, he sees it the one time. He falls for Harry's trick to go. I mean, he's clearly, every match we've seen, I guess this is the second match we've seen him, he's only doing what Harry's doing.
But here's the thing. He beat Cedric Diggory. He beat Cho Chang because they had to have beaten Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. How is that possible? We saw how, Cho Chang was amazing.
That's true.
She only got outflown by the broom.
And Cedric was good. I mean, he won.
Draco's an idiot. How is that even possible that they made it there? Because he's a moron.
We know that from this, obviously they're using a little bit different team members on their roster this time. It seemed like they were using more for size than for skill.
Yeah.
So maybe it's different beaters. Maybe it's different chasers. I don't know who was swapped out. Only one still there that we know, Flint and Malfoy.
And Montague.
Montague. He's been in there. No, this was his
first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they actually I don't think they named the keeper here.
No.
I know last book it was Bletchley.
Yeah.
Let's just say it was him. He's still the keeper. I don't know.
He graduated out, but still.
Right. We don't know. But I hadn't thought about how technically the Slytherins won those other 2 matches, but maybe their usual chasers are pretty good and they could run up the score, to where it doesn't matter as much if you catch the snitch. Because if you can get 150 points ahead, snitch becomes, no matter who catches it, doesn't end up mattering.
Okay.
And we do know, well, I don't know. We could figure out if we really wanted to. Gryffindor was 200 points behind.
Yes.
We know what
I don't feel like doing that much right now, which is sad.
Listeners at home, if you feel like going through and figuring out what the potential scores were in the other matches, write in. But I don't know. Maybe he's not too bad. He's got a better broom than them.
Okay.
Again, better broom can win.
I have been waiting for this question. I have been waiting for this question for 2 years. Ready?
Ready.
What year is Marcus Flint?
I knew that you've been waiting for this. And I know that we both know the answer, or at least the accepted answer. Both accepted answers, I think. So he is described as being a 6th year in book 1.
Yes.
Specifically.
I can read the quote for you.
Go for it.
Now I want a nice fair game, all of you, she said, once they were all gathered around her. Harry noticed that she seemed to be speaking particularly to the Slytherin captain, Marcus Flint, a 6th year. Harry thought Flint looked as though he had some troll blood in him.
So that was
book 1.
Book 1.
Mm-hmm.
Harry's year 1.
Yes.
6th year for Flint.
Yes.
Book 2. Year 2 for Harry. 7th year for Flint.
Yes.
Book 3. Year 3 for Harry. 7th year again.
Yes.
6th year for the 3rd time. Mistake by JK.
So I'm trying to do a little bit of quick internet searching. And give me one moment. Okay, so it's not in the one I was looking at, but on Harry Potter Wikia, it says specifically that Marcus Flint, here we go, was sorted into Slytherin House. He was a chaser as well as team captain, and he had to repeat his final year of education as he failed his exams the first time around. This comes from a quote I remember reading from J.K. Rowling, but I cannot find it anywhere, so I apologize, where somebody asked her about it. And she said, well, it was either my mistake or he failed, and I like to think that it was his fault and not mine.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but that was the general idea. Yeah. I'm fine with all of those things. Mm-hmm. I can even pretend it's not her fault and totally his. How does he still get to be captain?
How does he still get to play?
He's
a year older.
And he failed. Isn't there some sort of grade requirement?
Academic probation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my real question.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And one thing that I was thinking, here's another justification. Mm-hmm. I know in certain sports leagues, it's all dependent on age. So if he's a younger age in the year.
If he has a summer birthday.
Right. Mm-hmm. He can potentially play an extra year. And maybe that's it. Maybe he's not even in school anymore, but he can still be on the team because he's young enough. He's got that, July birthday, whatever it is. I'm just kidding, but you could make an argument.
See,
if this was more of a club sport and not a school affiliated thing, I think you could make that work. But
I have a problem with it. It has always bothered me because why wouldn't it be not allowed? Make a new captain.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm surprised that even with those justifications that he gets to play.
Yeah, it makes it sound like it's her fault.
It is.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
And I think the way she handled it is definitely well done and funny.
Right.
It's because it plays to his character too.
Right.
And she's clearly, I think, tongue in cheek saying, I miffed that one.
Well, right.
But
just in case.
It works for his character.
Not for the team. It's so unfair.
Yeah. And she even leaves it open-ended. I like to think that he made the mistake and not me. And I think that's fair. I do
that with my kids.
Yeah.
I would like to think that the reason your room isn't clean is because you didn't listen as opposed to I didn't tell you or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Question 3 of 2.
3 of section 2.
That's right. What do you think is the most useful charm/spell in our lives, in your current life, that the students have learned so far?
I am really thinking about this.
It looks hard.
Haven't done it in a while.
That's what you get for taking a sabbatical.
Yeah, that's what it was. I would like to think Mobiliarbus is a pretty useful charm, being able to move things, which, note on that, our father had a pretty good comment to our previous discussion on, why do you need Mobiliarbus when you have Wingardium Leviosa? Mm-hmm. And he broke up the words as mobile and arbus, which is trees, because she moved a plant.
A mobile tree.
Specifically had to move a tree. And I thought it was a really good point. And he was basically getting to, Like it's more of definitely more advanced, which is kind of what we were talking about, but it has to like undo the roots so that you can safely move it. But then I pointed out to him, it was a potted plant.
Yes, he and I had the same conversation and resulted in the same.
It was a very, very good point. Sorry, Dad. I disagree. But I do think that's a pretty useful one, being able to.
I feel like that's a good one for being lazy. Like, oh, I need this to move over here.
Remote. Oh, I don't want it just to levitate. I want it to levitate and give it a vector. It needs force and direction. More math. How much math can we shove in here? So I'm going to say Mobiliarbus, if that really is just the lift and kind of move things.
I asked this question because I really feel like cheering charms for my world might be the most effective. Teenage daughter giving me attitude. Poof. Cheering charm. My 5-year-old throwing a fit. Poof. Cheering charm. Students rolling their eyes at me. Poof. Cheering charm.
You have a lot more use for that than I do.
Husband annoyed at something. Poof. Cheering charm. It's fantastic. I can see so many uses.
I'm so happy, and I don't know why. It confuses me, but I'm still happy about it.
Let's sing and have ice cream. Okay, that sounds great.
Is that dishonest to do that?
Yes.
Yes. I was just angry. I'm not now.
Well,
but I don't know why.
So I guess it depends on if it's like, do I do it blatantly to their face? Look, I'm telling you, you need this. Poof. Or if I'm like behind their back around the corner, like a little sneaky, bing, cheering charm for you. Haha.
Right, yeah.
Man, that would make timeouts so much better.
You don't need it.
They would go so much faster. You're right, Mommy. I was wrong. I love you.
Let's hug it out.
You got it. Let's go color together. I love coloring.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good one. I do think the blue flames seems like a cool one too.
It's cool. I'm just trying to find
like useful
for my everyday world. I agree with you. Being able to move things to me so I don't actually have to get up. Big fan.
Yeah.
Cheering charms. Big fan. Transfiguring things into other things. Maybe. I don't know.
It's complex. Don't know how it could really apply.
I don't either.
In the best ways for me.
Yeah.
Arithmancy. I could put that to use, I think. Don't know anything about it, but it sounds like something I could use.
Same.
Yeah.
That completes my list of 2 and then 3 questions.
Hey, Melissa.
Yes.
What was your favorite line?
Well, I'm actually going to throw this back at you because looking at our favorite lines or scenes, as some of us have picked, me, they are consecutive.
Okay.
And yours comes first.
Okay. I'm going to go through both of mine.
Okay.
I have 2. And I will go with my runner-up first.
The fates have informed me that your examination in June will concern the orb, and I am anxious to give you sufficient practice. Hermione snorted. Well, honestly, the fates have informed her. Who sets the exam? She does. What an amazing prediction. She said, not troubling to keep her voice low. Harry and Ron choked back laughs.
It's Hermione on point and not giving a care in the world to who hears.
Well, because this was the same day of the Malfoy slap and the skipping of charms.
Yeah, skipping charms was after divination.
No.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Oh, you're right. We have divination next.
Wait. I get to be right.
This happens all the time.
I
Get
know,
over it.
But usually you're usually if you say no to something, you tend to be right. And I'm just saying, it's nice to be right against you. It doesn't happen as often as you think.
Oh, I remember them all. So my actual favorite line comes slightly after that line.
Okay.
Would anyone like me to help them interpret the shadowy portents within their orb? She muttered over the clicking of her bangles. I don't need help, Ron whispered. It's obvious what this means. There's going to be loads of fog tonight.
Just a great line. Like, they're looking in a mystical crystal ball with swirling smokes, and it's, it's very dreamy and, mystical, and yeah, it's going to be fog. It's just great. I think that's hilarious.
Immediately following that, Ron and Hermione Hermione and Harry both start laughing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's when it leads into Hermione just losing it after the Grim.
Now, this leads to my favorite scene. And I had to say the whole scene. It was just so good. It starts with Trelawney really getting ready to, once again, predict Harry's death.
My dear, Professor Trelawney breathed, gazing up at Harry. It is here, plainer than ever before. My dear, stalking toward you, growing ever closer. Oh, for goodness sake, said Hermione loudly. Not that ridiculous Grim again. Professor Trelawney raised her enormous eyes to Hermione's face. Parvati whispered something to Lavender, and they both glared at Hermione, too. Professor Trelawney stood up, surveying Hermione with unmistakable anger. I am sorry to say that from the moment you have arrived in this class, my dear, it has been apparent that you do not have what the noble art of divination requires. Indeed, I don't remember ever meeting a student whose mind was so hopelessly mundane. There was a moment of silence. Then, Fine, said Hermione suddenly, getting up and cramming Unfogging the Future back into her bag. Fine, she repeated, swinging the bag over her shoulder and almost knocking Ron off his chair. I give up. I'm leaving. And to the whole class's amazement, Hermione strode over to the trapdoor, kicked it open, and climbed down the ladder out of sight.
I love that scene.
That's how you quit a job.
That's right.
Yeah, that's, as they say, going out in style.
Like, go big or go home.
Yeah. And
or go big going home.
She just went home bigly. That's a great walkout. I mean, that's a walk-off home run right there.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's a mic drop and a lights out and there's the door. Tip your waiter. I'm out.
Yeah. That's great scene. Great scene.
Excellent
Hermione.
scene. Big fan.
So along with that, I don't know if there's much surprise on who you're going to crown the chapter MVP.
Oh, it has to be Hermione.
And it's been a little while.
I counted, and we have not given her anything, not even a runner-up since chapter 6 of this book.
And that's surprising because she has dominated the rankings for books 1 and 2.
Yes. But she's had a rough go of it, and it kind of all comes to a boil head right here and explodes tremendously well. I truly believe, I think you can see Hermione going through sort of that teenage hormonal thing as a part of all of her things going on.
And she doesn't necessarily realize that.
Nobody ever does.
Right. And that's, again, well done.
And this is the brilliance of JK, that she can underlie that and not have it be so blatantly like coming of age story.
Yeah.
But that's what's happening for Hermione, this particular book. And plus all of the other stuff she has going on. And this chapter was beautiful.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the best thing for all of that pent up is just to let it out. Because then she'll probably feel better.
Yeah, she's going to actually be able to breathe again.
Exactly.
Yeah, and she dropped a class, which is probably a good choice.
And she smacked Draco.
Yeah.
I mean, you always get a golf clap for that one.
Been a lot of clapping this episode.
We're very happy.
Hey, see?
Yay us.
Yay us. See, you just missed me so much. You did fine. You were fine. I wasn't worried about you.
I wasn't missing you. I mean, hi. All right. Do you have anybody that you thought was good too?
I thought that Ron had a very good chapter as well. He's going to get my honorable mention. He did a good job at, playing his part to level, get on the same team with Hermione again. It really was both of them early in this chapter, getting that kind of behind him, fingers crossed.
Right.
And he does, they both, Harry and Ron, apologize to Hagrid for not helping out. And hey, we know there's always the appeal. And Ron does a good job at now doing his, research and helping out with, the hippogriff defense. And I mean, that's really the crux of why I think he earned it. Another secondary honorable mention, Harry. Good chapter. I mean, very good Quidditch playing, some good friend stuff in there. He kind of similar to Ron as they're, talking to Hagrid, and it's nothing that really stands out outside of the Quidditch, I guess, but it's just nice job.
Well, one thing that I noticed, especially like in divination or just in general, they were a trio again. They were laughing and joking and playing together.
And it's hard for me not to say, hey, good job for Harry, just to like be a part of that.
Something I noticed in the last chapter, the theme of chapter 14 was guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Guilt from Hagrid, guilt from Hermione, guilt from Lupin for making bad choices.
Much
which
needed
they
guilt.
did. It's nice to see it kind of turn around because it really is a chapter of just doing the right thing and being around and being a kid and doing what you're supposed to and getting through and being a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a nice, normal lives chapter. Other than Hermione, who totally wins.
Agreed.
This time.
Agreed.
So we're going to sign off now.
Sign off.
We apparently have given you a lot of homework, which I don't remember at the moment, but go back and listen again.
Religion in the Wizarding World.
Oh, yes. Okay, that one.
That's a big one.
Ooh, I want an illustration of Snape wearing all green.
That's right. There was one more. Listeners, write in if you remember what the third thing we asked you for is.
So anyway, you have a lot of homework. I would love it if you could send it to us on Twitter at Not Named Podcast.
The Quidditch numbers, if someone wants to go through and figure out what the other scores of the Slytherin matches were.
Okay.
To see if Draco really is a good seeker or not.
All right, so listeners, you have a lot of homework. You need to give us all of the possible Quidditch scores that would let us know whether or not Draco actually measures up as a seeker.
Send in your thoughts about religion in the Wizarding World this week so that we can add it to our unrestricted section discussion next week.
And just for fun, can somebody please draw me a picture of Snape wearing all green? Please send those things to Not Named Podcast on Twitter. You can email it to us at thepodcastthat@gmail.com. And for fun, you can find us at thepodcastthat.com. You can leave a comment under our section for this particular episode. And you can also find all of our other shows and episodes for the variety of things that we do.
Also, while you're at thepodcastthat.com, you can visit our Diagon Alley shop where you can purchase curated items from Harry Potter, curated by your two hosts here and others. Gives us a nice little kickback from Amazon, and we would really appreciate it. Subscribe, like, rate, leave comments on iTunes and YouTube. Special thanks to, I think no one was more qualified for a chapter summary this chapter than our Quidditch correspondent, Abby. Thank you for filling us in, 1, as the Quidditch correspondent, and 2, as the chapter summary for the Quidditch final.
Stay tuned next week as we revisit chapters 11 through 15. We hear back from our first-time reader and our target perspective audience member, and we open up the unrestricted section. We haven't been there in a few weeks. After that, in 2 weeks, we will be talking about chapter number 16.
Professor Trelawney's prediction. Stay imaginary.
Thank you.